Good morning, guys. It's Thursday the 28th of January and this is your morning starter. Hit pause on the screen now to have a go at the questions. Please pay special attention to your division and subtraction questions today, please. We're moving on to the starter answers in 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Press pause on the screen to give yourself a mark. Remember, a tick if you got it and a dot if not. Moving on to today's lesson focus in 3, 2 and 1. So today we are looking at equivalent fractions. We know the word equivalent means equal. If two things are equivalent, they are worth the same. So we are looking at fractions today that are worth the same. We already know some things about fractions. We know the numerator is the number on top and it's how many parts we're focusing on. We know the denominator is the number on the bottom and it's how many parts there are altogether. We know unit fractions always have a numerator of 1 and non-unit fractions will always have a numerator bigger than 1. So we are already fraction experts and this is the next step in our journey. So first question, and I'd like you to pause the screen and have a go at these, but I'm just going to explain it. In the first question we have two bar models. The first bar model is split into 9 equal parts. You can count them and check for yourself. The bottom bar model is split into 3 equal parts, but we can see both these bar models are just as big as each other. They've been split into different amounts, but both of them, if we put them on top of each other, they would be worth the same. So these bar models are going to help us spot some equivalent fractions. How many ninths, so how many out of 9 is worth the same as how many out of 3? And then for the second question, you have a number line here to help you find the equivalent fractions. The top part of the number line has been split into 5 sections and the bottom part has been split into 15 sections. So 3/5 is the same as how many 15ths? 15/15 worth the same as how many fifths? Press pause on your screen now and have a go. We're going to look at the answers in 3, 2 and 1. So for the first question, we know that the top bar model is split into 9 parts. So each part is worth 1 out of 9, 1/9. The bottom is split into 3 parts, so each section is 1/3, 1 out of 3. When we look at the bar models, we can see that 1/3 takes up the same amount of space as 3/9. That tells us that 3/9 is the same as 1/3. If we colour in the second third, we can colour in another lot of 3/9. So 2/3 is the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ninths. If we colour in the whole bar model, we find out that 3/3, 3 out of 3, is the same as 9/9, 9 out of 9. For question number 2 with our number line, 3/5, if we look on our number line here, I'm going to use my pen to draw. So 1, 2, 3/5 is worth the same as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 15ths. Oh, my pen's gone a little bit wild there. 15/15, so all the way at the end of the number line, is worth the same as 5/5, 1 whole. Fantastic. Okay, so here is another bar model. I've split it into 2. Now I have 1/2 on either side, 2 halves altogether. I'm going to shade in the first half. Now I have another bar model. It's exactly the same size as the top one, but instead of splitting it into halves, I'm going to split it into quarters. You can see I've already coloured in my 1/2. How many quarters should I colour in that are worth the same amount? If I colour in 2 quarters, we can see it's worth the same as 1/2. They take up the same amount of space. Let's take it a step further. Now I've split my bar model, which is the same again, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, sixths. How many sixths are worth the same as 1/2 and 2 quarters? 3/6 are worth the same as 1/2 and 2 quarters. You can see this line down the middle, they're all taking up the same amount of space. And here I've got my bar model again, and this time it's split into 8ths. How many 8ths are going to be the same as 1/2, 2 quarters and 3/6? Let's have a look at where that line's going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/8ths are the same as 1/2, the same as 2 quarters, and the same as 3/6. These are all equivalent fractions. They're all equal, they're all worth the same. They all take up the same amount of space. And here we have it written as a number sentence. 1/2 is the same as, is equal to, 2/4 is equal to 3/6 is equal to 4/8. I wonder if you can pause the screen and spot any patterns here in this number sequence. Okay. So this is a fraction wall. It's really similar to the bar models that we've just looked at together here. But instead of being separate, it's been put together to make it really easy for us to spot fractions that are worth the same. So this top bar is one whole. It hasn't been split into anything. The next bar is split into two, so it's halves. Then we have thirds, then quarters, then fifths, then 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and so on. You could keep going for a long, long time. We've stopped at 12ths just because there's not much more room on the screen. This is going to be really, really helpful when we're finding equivalent fractions. So for example, let's say we're looking to find a fraction that's worth the same as 5/6. All we need to do is go to our sixths, colour in 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then look up or down on our fraction wall to find another fraction that's worth the same. And I can see here 12ths are worth the same. Let's see how many 12ths were worth the same as 5/6. 1/12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 12ths were worth the same as 5/6. If our fraction wall had kept going, we might have found some more equivalent fractions for this as well. There we are. That was a much neater line than the one that I drew, but we can see that 5/6 are worth exactly the same. They take up the same amount of space as 10 12ths. Now we've got some more equivalent fractions to find here. If you want to pause the screen and have a go at these yourself, you can do. I'm going to talk through them here. So first, we're going to look for 2/5. So we go to our fifths. There we are. We shade in 2 of them, and we're going to go down or up until we find another fraction that's worth the same. And we can see here, the next one that's worth the same is in the tenths. And there are 4/10. So 2/5 is equivalent to 4/10. I wonder if you can start spotting a pattern yet with these numbers. Let's look at 2/3 now. So we shade in 2/3, we take our straight line and we go down until we find the next equivalent fraction, and here we can see it's the 6ths. 2/3 is worth the same as 4/6. We could have kept going, however, and you'll notice that it's also the 9ths. We can see here that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 9ths are also worth the same as 2/3, and there's another fraction down here worth the same too. There's more than one set of equivalent fractions. Let's look at 6/8 now. Oh, that's showing you what I've just talked about. Let's look at 6/8 now. So here are our 6/8. Let's have a look and see what equivalent fractions we have. So going down, we have the 12ths, and we can see 9/12 are worth the same as 6/8. But we could also go up, and we find that 3/4 are also worth the same as 3/8. So again, there's more than one answer to be had. On Teams, you're going to be using your own fraction walls, one for each question, to help you work out some equivalent fractions. If you're feeling stuck, come back to this video and re-watch it. If you're still feeling stuck, reach out for help on the Ask the Teachers channel, and I'll come and give you a hand just as soon as I can. See you later.